Why do cats and dogs always fight? A long time ago, in a cozy little village, cat and dog were the best of friends. They lived in the same house, shared the same food bowl, and even curled up in the same basket at night. Everyone in the village loved watching them play together in the garden, chasing butterflies and rolling in the grass. Every morning, they would greet each other with wagging tails and happy meows, always excited for the adventures of the day ahead. "Let's never fight, okay?" Cat would say, wrapping her tail gently around Dog. "Of course," Dog replied with a wagging tail. "We'll always be a team." But one day, something happened that changed everything. It was a sunny morning in the quiet little village, and everything seemed just as it should be. Dog had been saving a special bone, one he buried under a big oak tree near the house. "It's my treasure," he told Cat proudly. Cat just purred and smiled. Dog had always been careful with his bone, making sure no one else could find it. He thought it was the safest spot in the whole yard. But the next morning, the bone was gone. Dog ran all over the garden, sniffing and digging. "Where's my bone?" he barked. He checked behind the bushes, under the porch, even inside his favorite flower bed. But the bone was nowhere to be found. His nose twitched and his ears drooped. Then he saw Cat lounging under the tree, licking her paw calmly like nothing had happened. Dog's eyes narrowed. He slowly walked over, his fur standing up. "Did you take it?" he growled, trying to keep his voice steady. Cat's ears twitched. "Why would I want your silly bone?" she replied coolly. "I like fish, not bones." But Dog didn't believe her. "You were the only one near the tree." He barked loudly with suspicion. Cat jumped up with a hiss. "How dare you accuse me without proof?" she spat, her fur standing on end. Dog bared his teeth, his tail stiff. The tension between them grew with every second, and neither wanted to back down. The air grew thick with anger. Neighbors peeked out their windows, watching nervously. For the first time ever, Cat and Dog were fighting, really fighting, and no one knew how it would end. The argument turned into a fight. Dog barked and Cat shouted. Feathers flew, flower pots fell, and even the birds scattered in fear. The peaceful yard turned into a big mess. Finally, they both stopped, panting and covered in dirt. Their fur was ruffled, and their eyes were filled with hurt. The garden was quiet again, but not in a good way. "I can't believe you don't trust me," Cat whispered sadly, her voice barely heard. Dog looked away, his ears low. "I just wanted my bone back," he muttered. But deep down, they both knew. The damage had already been done. For days, Cat and Dog didn't speak. They slept in different corners, ate alone, and didn't play anymore. The house felt cold and quiet, like all the joy had gone missing. The humans noticed, too. They brought treats and new toys, hoping to cheer them up. But nothing worked. Cat would just turn away and Dog would lie down with a heavy sigh. Dog still believed Cat had taken the bone. Cat still felt hurt that Dog didn't trust her. One quiet night, as the moonlight poured through the window, Cat curled up alone and whispered to herself, "Maybe we were never meant to be friends." One day, a clever old crow landed on the fence and tilted his head. He saw Cat sitting on the porch near the window and Dog sulking in the yard. They were sitting far apart, not even looking at each other. "What happened to you two?" the crow asked kindly. Cat and Dog slowly told their sides of the story, about the missing bone, the argument, and the hurt feelings. The crow clicked his beak thoughtfully. "I saw a raccoon sneaking around the oak tree that night," he said. "He took a big bone and ran into the woods." Cat and Dog looked at each other in shock. Their eyes widened. "So it wasn't you?" Dog whispered. Cat stood up slowly. "No, I told you I didn't take it." Her voice was calm, but there was a sadness in her eyes. Dog's tail drooped as he looked at the ground. "I'm sorry I didn't believe you," he said softly, his voice filled with regret. Cat nodded, but her eyes looked far away, lost in thought. "Words hurt, dog," she whispered. "Once you say them, you can't take them back." They sat quietly for a long time, neither knowing what to say next. The crow, seeing that they needed space, flew away into the sky, leaving them alone in the heavy silence. Maybe the truth had come too late. Maybe their friendship would never be the same. They tried to be friends again. They shared food, and sometimes they took naps near each other, just like before. But something had changed. Cat was more cautious now, always keeping a little distance. Dog, too, barked less when he was near Cat, as if unsure. One afternoon, the old goat from the barn watched them quietly. He looked at Cat and Dog, then shook his head slowly. "Some things just don't go back to the way they were," he said with a sigh. And maybe he was right. Trust, once broken, is hard to fix. Since that day, cats and dogs in the village never got along like before. Some became friends, but many still hissed or barked when they crossed paths. It's just in their nature, people said. But the truth is, the story of cat and dog lives in every meow and bark. It reminds us to be careful with our words, to listen, and to never let anger destroy something beautiful. Still, if you look closely, you might find a cat and a dog curled up together, sharing a nap. Maybe they remember how it used to be. Maybe they believe that friendship is still possible, because deep inside every cat and dog, there is still a memory of that time, when love was louder than barking and trust was stronger than fear.